Twisty turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slam dunk.
What if greatness wasn't about scoring the most points? In a league obsessed with numbers and highlights, Magic Johnson changed everything by doing the impossible. He didn't need to lead the scoreboard to dominate the game. With vision that saw plays before they unfolded, passes no one else could deliver, and leadership that went beyond the court, Magic redefined what it meant to be a basketball superstar. His brilliance wasn't just in how he played, but in how he elevated everyone around him.
Who was the best point guard of the 1980s, Isaiah?
Come on, Zeke, say yourself, Zeke! Say yourself, Zeke!
No, honestly, I will have to say Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson didn't just bring the Lakers back to glory, he saved the NBA at a time when the league needed a hero. In one of the greatest rivalries in sports history, he redefined the meaning of leadership and resilience. But Magic's legacy extends beyond the game. He became a symbol of courage and hope after facing one of the most feared diseases of his time, HIV.
Shocking and so unexpected, it is difficult to absorb it even as we report it.
First of all, let me say good late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
Magic is who I am on the basketball court. Today we remember one of the greatest of this sport. But before he saved the league and inspired millions off the court, Magic was just a kid from Michigan with a dream and a basketball in his hands. When Magic fired a no-look pass through two defenders, splitting them like they weren't even there, the crowd knew they were watching something impossible. He made it look effortless, but no one else in the game could pull it off. Magic Johnson was the kind of player everyone admired, a game changer who redefined basketball, leadership, and a smile that lit up his teammates, fans, and basketball lovers alike. Standing at 6'9", he revolutionized the point guard position, shattering every traditional mold of the game. He could have been the greatest scorer of all time, but he chose a different path to be the kind of player who brought out the best in those around him, who found joy in the game and turned it into a spectacle. That was the foundation of his Lakers, the legendary Showtime, which dominated and captivated an entire generation, leaving an indelible mark on basketball history. But where did it all begin? Born on August 14th, 1959, Irvin Magic Johnson Jr. came from a humble but strong foundation. His father worked long hours at General Motors, and his mother, Christine, tirelessly cleaned schools. But in their small home, something bigger was growing. Magic was learning that hard work and perseverance were not just lessons, they were his way out, his way to greatness. As Johnson himself once said, "I grew up poor, but I never had poor dreams." Under this mindset, the story of a young boy, a basketball, and a big dream began. Johnson grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and by the age of 6, his love for basketball was already evident. At home, he would roll up socks to pretend they were basketballs and use the laundry basket as a hoop. His father noticed the spark in young Irvin's eyes whenever he played. Growing up with 9 siblings, he never had anything that was truly his. His clothes, toys, and belongings were all hand-me-downs from his brothers and sisters. But one Christmas, his father gave him a gift that would change everything: his very own basketball. It was the first time his family had ever seen him smile so brightly. You could see that as long as Irvin had that ball in his hands, he was happy. Every morning before school, in the afternoons, and even some nights, despite the neighbors' complaints, all that could be heard was the sound of Magic's basketball bouncing over and over again. His passion wasn't just a part of his life, it followed him to the playgrounds where the legend would be born. At just 10 years old, Magic wasn't just playing the game, he was reshaping it. Kids crowded the court not just to play alongside him, but to witness the boy who saw passes no one else could, who moved in ways they couldn't even imagine. It was clear he wasn't just playing basketball, he was ready to rewrite its rules. In 1974, 14-year-old Irvin Johnson entered Everett High School, and this is where everyone began to notice his greatness. His coaches saw a player who could score 50 points, but chose to score less to lift up his teammates, a quality that made him truly special.
Magic was real young. Magic was probably 14 years old when I met him. And, and he played with us, so he was playing with the pros, at 14. And, oh, man, he was special then.
Well, he's probably smart enough to get you the ball in the spot.
Well, he's smart enough to get a whole lot of people the ball.
Right.
That would made him Magic. He understood how to win. He was all about winning. He made people around him better. he made people around him better at 14. So his potential was scary. And
in every game, you saw a boy with a huge smile outplaying his opponents, dishing out unbelievable passes to his teammates, and being the great leader who transformed his high school team from one of the worst to a contender for the state championship.
See the greatness of Urban Johnson. He was about 14 years old coming into high school. Once we got in a game, he would always include everybody. He wanted to win. That meant if he had to score 50, he would, but if he had to score 20, and get everybody else involved. That's the greatness that I appreciated.
Soon enough, Johnson became one of the most popular young players in the United States and a media favorite. Amazed by his court vision, flashy passes, and breathtaking plays, they gave him the iconic nickname that would be known worldwide, Magic Johnson, after a game where he recorded a triple-double with 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 16 assists.
The guy came in and said, I gotta give you a nickname. I've never seen anything like this. And I said, I'm 15 now. I start giggling. All my boys, they giggling too. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, give him a nickname.
A nickname that fit perfectly with his game, Magic. A young man with big dreams who wasn't your typical high scorer. He was a complete player, capable of dominating every aspect of the game. His triple-doubles, his incredible passing ability, and his leadership on the court, yes, he was simply Magic. Magic received many offers to transfer to bigger high schools, but true to his values, he stayed, determined to prove he could win, with a school that had no basketball history and was unknown to many. This determination was fueled by a promise he made to his team, to win the state championship in honor of their teammate, Reggie Chastain, who had tragically passed away in a car accident. They fulfilled that promise in an electrifying final game that went into overtime. In his senior year, Magic averaged 29 points per game and led the Vikings to their second state title. An unprecedented achievement that left no doubt Magic was destined to dominate the future of American basketball. With the entire country watching, Magic received over 100 offers from different universities, but the local hero from Michigan had his heart set on playing for the Spartans, the team of his hometown. In 1977, Magic Johnson arrived at Michigan State, and from the very first practice, he was already challenging the status quo. At 6'9", everyone expected him to dominate as a forward, but Magic had a different plan. He stunned his coach and teammates by insisting on playing point guard, daring to transform the position into something basketball had never seen. It was a decision that seemed absurd to everyone except for Magic and his coach. In his first game as a point guard, Magic scored only 7 points and had 7 turnovers. Critics quickly labeled Coach Judd as crazy and accused him of ruining Magic Johnson's career. But Magic didn't take long to adjust to his new position, a spot where he could show that scoring wasn't the only way to be great. He wanted to have fun, be involved in every aspect of the game, elevate his teammates, win, and reinvent the game on his own terms.
He was the leader. He was a take-charge guy from the day he walked on the court.
Once Magic solidified himself as a point guard, the Spartans went on a 13-game winning streak and captured the conference title, ending an 11-year drought. They also returned to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 19 years. Thanks to Magic's leadership and high basketball IQ, the Spartans were changing college basketball. A game that had traditionally been small, focused on minor details, was now being redefined. Michigan reached the Midwest Final that same year, but they lost to the University of Kentucky. However, Magic averaged 17 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 7.4 assists per game, earning the title of Rookie of the Year. At just 18 years old, Magic was the leader of his team, and the entire country knew who Michigan's Magic was. Despite having hundreds of girls chasing after him, Magic fell in love with Cookie, the woman who would later become his wife and one of the great pillars who helped Johnson overcome the biggest challenges of his life.
World at his feet at 18. He became two different people. When he was with me, he was Irvin, but the minute we stepped outside that door, he became Magic.
The following year, the world of college basketball was buzzing with talk of a rising rivalry between the young star from Indiana, Larry Bird, and Michigan's shining light, Magic Johnson. The Spartans made it to the Final Four of the NCAA after years of disappointment. The entire campus was in the national spotlight, with all eyes on Magic Johnson. Meanwhile, Larry Bird and the undefeated Indiana State Sycamores entered the finals as the top seed and heavy favorites to win the championship. Both teams reached the final, and for the first time, college basketball became a major national event. Everyone wanted to witness the showdown between the kid from Lansing known as Magic and the hick from French Lick. Johnson and Bird had crossed paths before during a college players tour. They knew what each was capable of, but it wasn't until this final that one of the greatest rivalries in all of basketball would be born. From the very first moment, you could see two completely different players, fierce rivals who would later become close friends, but who both shared the same burning desire to be the best. Each of them was ready to give everything for their team and for victory. That night, the Magic was too much for the bird to fly. Magic scored 28 points, putting on a masterclass for the world to see. Johnson was in complete control, grabbing rebounds, dribbling up the court, dishing out assists, and scoring with ease. We were witnessing the rise of a superstar as Magic led his team to the 1979 championship, defeating Indiana with a score of 75-64. This victory didn't just skyrocket Magic to fame, it also proved he was ready for the NBA. Magic Johnson spent only 2 years at MSU, where he averaged 17.1 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.9 assists. More importantly, he had become a point guard who could dominate the entire game at will. No guard in that era, and even today, had ever been so dominant. He redefined the position using his height to see the entire court, but it was his ball handling and passing ability that allowed him to make plays only a floor general like him could. Magic was not only ready to make the leap, but he would realize that not everything was shining in professional basketball. What was happening with the NBA?
We hoped the glow that attached to their season.
Say that you've played your last college game and that you're heading away from Michigan State. You first.
I can't really say, I haven't said that at all. Everybody's just saying that. As far as I know right now, I'll be back. But, you know, everybody got the room I'm leaving, but I haven't said that.
John, how about you?
The NBA was stained by violence, drugs, and low-quality games. The league was desperately searching for a breath of fresh air to save basketball from its imminent decline. That hope came from Michigan, a young man chosen to be the NBA's savior.
Los Angeles Lakers select Irvin Magic Johnson, Michigan State, 6'8", 200 pounds.
Then came the 1979 draft, where Magic Johnson was selected as the #1 pick by the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers had acquired the top pick from the New Orleans Jazz in exchange for one of their stars, Gail Goodrich. Magic became the first overall pick without completing all 4 years of college, but this didn't stop the Lakers. They saw in Magic Johnson the chance to restore the old glory of a historic franchise that had been drowning in failure. October 12th, 1979. A date that would forever change basketball. On this night, a young Magic Johnson stepped onto the court for his first NBA game with the Los Angeles Lakers. And though the lights shone bright on the California Stars, the crowd would leave that night remembering one thing: Magic was about to take the league by storm. The California team proudly showcased its young star alongside one of basketball's legends, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In a nail-biting 103-102 victory, Kareem hit a game-winning shot in the final second. But it was Magic's dazzling performance, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks, that left a lasting impression. Yet what everyone recalls is Magic running through the crowd, leaping into Kareem's arms. The newspapers in the world couldn't stop talking about the California duo. There was no doubt the NBA's Showtime era was about to begin. The Lakers had found their solution in Magic Johnson, a player who could lead, rebound, and deliver impossible assists to his teammates. He wasn't just the new hope for the Lakers, he was also a spark for their star, the record-breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Despite his incredible individual success, Kareem hadn't been able to lift his team past the semifinals for 5 long years. But thanks to the arrival of that young man from Michigan, bringing with him a breath of fresh air, Abdul-Jabbar was rejuvenated. The NBA's all-time leading scorer had finally found his partner in battle. With Magic's infectious smile and unmatched skill, the Magic had officially begun. Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers, had transformed his team into a true spectacle. With the introduction of the Laker Girls, the stadium upgrades, and the unstoppable duo of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook and Magic Johnson's flair, watching a Lakers game became synonymous with entertainment where celebrities flocked to be part of the show. Magic Johnson had teamed up with his idol to create the greatest show basketball had ever seen. The impact was immediate. Both the team and the fans were swept up in Magic's infectious energy and smile as he began to redefine how the game was played. The Lakers played fast, dynamic basketball, with Magic delivering mesmerizing, precise passes and electrifying fast breaks, often finishing with a signature skyhook from the great Kareem. The Lakers were becoming an unstoppable force, and soon everyone was calling it Showtime. With 60 wins and 22 losses, the Lakers had an incredible season. Kareem averaged 24.8 points per game, while Magic, in his rookie year, posted 18 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 7.3 assists per game. The Lakers weren't just playing basketball, they were putting on a show, one that would change the game forever. Magic was selected to the NBA All-Rookie First Team and earned a spot in the All-Star Game. However, despite these accomplishments and impressive numbers, they weren't enough to win him Rookie of the Year, a title that went to his great rival, Larry Bird. But even with that setback, Magic and the Lakers continued their magical journey through the playoffs. They easily defeated Phoenix and Seattle, and the excitement swept over the Forum. After 6 long years, the team was back in the NBA Finals, where they would face the Philadelphia 76ers led by the legendary Dr. J. Julius Erving and the powerhouse Darryl Dawkins. On May 4th, 1980, the NBA Finals began, a true clash of titans where no one could predict which side would prevail. Yet, it was Game 5 that everyone remembers. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, disaster struck for the Lakers. In the third quarter, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went down with a knee injury, and hope seemed to fade for the purple and gold. The king of the Lakers, who had already scored 26 points that night, was forced to leave the game. But Kareem, ever the warrior, refused to abandon his team. Despite his injury, he returned to the court, scoring an additional 14 points. With another brilliant performance from Magic, the Lakers managed to secure the victory, keeping their championship dreams alive. One step away from glory, the Lakers faced Game 6 without Kareem, as doctors had advised him not to play in order to be ready for a potential Game 7. But without their leading scorer, who would step up? Who would carry the offensive burden of the team? Coach Paul Westhead turned to Magic Johnson, asking the rookie to play center and lead the team in the critical Game 6. Magic didn't hesitate for a second. A rookie was about to take on the enormous responsibility of guiding the Lakers to a championship. On May 16, 1980, the Lakers headed to Philadelphia without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but with a 21-year-old Magic Johnson ready to make history. The battle was fierce, with both teams fighting without limits. It wasn't easy for the Lakers. They were up against a tough and aggressive 76ers team that had already taken down Jabbar, but Magic was unstoppable. Exhausted from playing in every position, he continued to inspire his teammates, pushing them to deliver the final blow to the Sixers, who were barely holding on. With 5 minutes left and the score 103-101 in favor of the Lakers, Westhead called a timeout. He turned to the young Magic and said, "This is your moment, Magic." The rest would become legend. Magic scored 9 points in the final 2 minutes, finishing the night with an incredible 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and a block. That kid from Michigan, still a rookie, with his leadership, magical skills, and now even skyhook shots in honor of Kareem, had finally delivered the Lakers a new championship. The final score was 123-107, and Magic Johnson was named Finals MVP, winning the title in his very first NBA season. Everyone described Magic's performance as unbelievable, and it marked the beginning of the Lakers' new dynasty. It was the first of 5 rings Magic would win with Los Angeles. The 1980s had arrived, bringing changes in culture, cinema, and sports, but it was the sports stars who would take control of the nation. And at the center of this elite group was, without a doubt, Magic Johnson. Across the United States, on every billboard, on every TV screen, in every commercial, there was joy, laughter, and $1 million smile. The image of Magic Johnson was everything that was right. This was a young man fresh off making history by winning the NBA championship, just 6 months after leading Michigan to an NCAA title. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink, but Magic had one vice, one that would later deal a harsh blow to his life and career. After their great triumph in 1980, the Lakers were favored to dominate the NBA for years to come, but it wouldn't all be smooth sailing. Magic Johnson suffered a knee injury that sidelined him for 37 games in the 1981 season. Without Magic, the team was haunted by the ghosts of its past. The speed, joy, and magic of basketball weren't the same, and a first-round playoff exit at the hands of Houston confirmed it. This set off alarm bells in the offices of Jerry Buss. He knew he couldn't afford to lose his young star. Magic Johnson could only wear a Lakers jersey. So he made him one of the most unbelievable offers in sports history. $25 million over 25 years for a 21-year-old kid. The 1981 or 82 season began with high hopes for Lakers fans. Magic Johnson had recovered from his injury and now locked in with the team for 25 years. The Lakers were once again seen as strong contenders. But things didn't start off as expected. Magic felt the team needed to reach the next level, and tensions with head coach Paul Westhead came to a boiling point. At that moment, the true potential of Showtime hadn't yet been realized. After a victory against Utah, Magic stunned everyone with his words, "I can't keep playing on this team." For the first time, Magic was booed, not just by any crowd, but by his own fans, the same ones who had once cheered his name every game night. But to Jerry Buss, Magic was everything. Captivated by his star, Buss made a bold decision. He fired Paul Westhead, the coach who had delivered a championship after years of disappointment. With Westhead out of the picture, the new coach would be Pat Riley, who had been an assistant on the sidelines and now faced the task of not only meeting the expectations of the Lakers president and fans, but also of Magic Johnson himself. Time would prove Magic right, as Pat Riley's Lakers transformed into the true Showtime. It was run-and-gun basketball, a dazzling spectacle that thrilled basketball fans everywhere. The world finally witnessed Magic in all his glory. His style of play didn't just redefine the Lakers, it reshaped the entire NBA. A team known for its fast-paced, precise plays, a team that thrived on selflessness, with jaw-dropping passes leading to one breathtaking score after another. They played with joy, a special kind of magic, and it all revolved around one man, Magic Johnson. After being criticized for his words, Magic responded in the only way he knew how, by making history. He recorded at least 700 points, 700 assists, and 700 rebounds that season, joining an elite group of players like Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson, who had achieved such remarkable stats. The Lakers once again reached the playoffs, where their fast, precise, and spectacular play proved too much for both Phoenix and San Antonio, sweeping both teams in just 4 games. It was pure basketball magic, and the Lakers found themselves in the NBA Finals once more, facing a familiar foe, the Sixers, led by Dr. J and Andrew Toney, hungry for revenge. Despite Philadelphia's best efforts, the Lakers were playing at a different speed, guided by Magic Johnson and backed by legendary players like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon, and Bob McAdoo. Their energy, Magic's mesmerizing passes, and the team's lightning-fast pace were simply too much for the Sixers, who once again fell to the Lakers' magic. The series ended on June 8th with the Lakers winning 4-2. Magic Johnson didn't just revolutionize the game with his versatility, he dominated multiple facets of it. His magical passes and relentless energy turned him into a force of nature on the court. His impact led the Lakers to their second championship in just his first 3 years in the NBA. Magic earned a spot on the NBA All-Second Team and was crowned Finals MVP for the second time. There was no doubt the Lakers had become the team to beat, playing a magical, joyful, and spectacular style of basketball that few could contain. And the Showtime era was only getting better, with new stars joining the roster, including a young talent from the draft, James Worthy. By 1983, Magic Johnson had truly become the captain of the purple and gold, a natural leader, able to inspire his team during tough moments and remain calm under the highest pressure. With 2 championships in 3 years, the Lakers could already smell a back-to-back title. No one thought any team could stop them. However, not everything would go as planned for the Californians. In the finals, they faced the Sixers once again, a team they had already beaten for 2 championships. But this time, the story would be different. Philadelphia, bolstered by the addition of Moses Malone, faced a Lakers team that had grown overconfident, believing the victory was already theirs. What followed was one of the greatest humiliations in Lakers history, swept by the Sixers 4-0, leaving Magic Johnson and Showtime with a lesson they would never forget. The next season, Magic Johnson would come face-to-face with an old rival. The world was about to witness the birth of one of the most storied rivalries in sports history, a clash of 2 polar opposites, each leading their team into battle. This rivalry would revive the NBA itself, the prodigy of the Lakers, Magic Johnson, against the pride of the Celtics, Larry Bird. That victory from Michigan over Indiana had only been the prelude to the global war that was about to erupt. Bird had not forgotten that loss from their college days, and he was ready to face Magic Johnson once again. The Celtics, already champions in '81, were a strategic, intelligent, and calculated team, masters of controlling every detail of the game. They were the undisputed kings of the East and eager to test Showtime once more. On the other side were the Lakers, full of magic, joy, and a fast, spectacular offensive style of play. They were the reigning kings of the West, led by Magic Johnson, who was ready for this new challenge. This rivalry would come to define the 1980s, leaving an indelible mark on the history of sports. The year was 1984, and for the first time, these two giants would meet in an NBA Finals. Magic Johnson, who had averaged 17.6 points, 7.3 rebounds, and an incredible 13.1 assists that season, was ready to lead the charge for the Lakers. With the unstoppable scoring of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers remained a fearsome team. On the other side, the Celtics, led by an inspired Larry Bird along with McHale and Parrish, were bringing back the golden era of Bill Russell. It was a war of titans, one of the most unforgettable displays of basketball in history. Two teams each with a different style, but both chasing the same goal. The battle was so evenly matched that it would be decided in a 7-game series, June 12, 1984. The Boston Garden was ready for the game that would decide everything. Magic Johnson continued to be the heart of the Lakers, but this time even his magic faltered. A few mistakes and bad decisions would seal the Lakers' fate. With a masterful performance from Larry Bird, who was named Finals MVP, the championship went to Boston with a final score of 111-102. For the second consecutive year, the Lakers had lost the finals, and the world witnessed Magic's first defeat at the hands of Larry Bird. But these two finals losses would ignite a fire in Magic Johnson and the Lakers. It was no longer just about having fun, creating a show, or even winning. The main objective became vengeance. They would not let the Celtics steal their glory again, and Magic Johnson knew he could never lose to his great rival, Larry Bird, ever again. A new opportunity was on the horizon for Magic Johnson. The 1984-85 season would not only be remembered for the fierce Lakers-Celtics rivalry or the rise of a young Michael Jordan as Rookie of the Year, it would also mark the year Pat Riley redefined the Lakers' strategy. With Magic Johnson, they had a player who could see countless possibilities in every play. He didn't just make the most spectacular pass possible. When the moment called for it, he became a lethal scorer. Magic was the ultimate all-around player. He could be a fast and precise point guard, a dominant rebounder, or an effective scorer when the team needed him. This versatility became the foundation for the Lakers' new style of play, a game that was redefined by Magic Johnson himself. The Lakers charged forward like a beast hungry for victory. Magic averaged 18.3 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 12.6 assists. His usual smile turned into a look of fury, a face radiating revenge, and an insatiable hunger to win. Magic led the Lakers to yet another NBA Finals, their 4th consecutive appearance and their 5th in 6 years. And their opponent? None other than the Boston Celtics, led by Larry Bird, who had just been named MVP for the 2nd year in a row. This was the moment Magic and the Lakers had been waiting for, their long-awaited chance at revenge. However, the Celtics struck first, winning 148-114, and suddenly everyone began to doubt the Lakers, especially Magic Johnson. Headlines across the nation declared that Larry Bird had outshined him, but when the team was at its lowest, a smile and a contagious energy ignited the entire franchise. Fans and players alike knew one thing: as long as they had Magic Johnson, there was always hope. By the second game, the Lakers looked like a completely different team. They soared across the court with breathtaking passes, dazzling plays, and Magic Johnson dominating the game like few had ever seen before. But Magic wasn't alone. A 38-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, inspired by Magic's energy, played as if he had found the fountain of youth, with Magic dishing out a staggering 15.2 assists per game in the finals. And improving his own outside shot, Kareem and the rest of the team reached their highest level of play. After 6 electrifying games, the second round of this epic battle went to Magic Johnson and the Lakers. Sweet revenge had been served. Kevin McHale, who had mockingly dubbed him Tragic Johnson, now had to watch as Magic once again crowned himself a champion at the Boston Garden. For the first time in history, the Lakers defeated the Celtics in the finals. Magic Johnson had reclaimed his place in history, earning securing his third championship ring. The 1986 season was a bitter disappointment for Magic and the Lakers. Despite Johnson maintaining impressive stats and continuing to dazzle NBA courts with his Magic versatility and leadership, it wasn't enough to defend the title they had won the year before. The Lakers crashed out in the Western Conference Finals, this time at the hands of the Houston Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson, who crushed the Lakers in 5 games, but the pain didn't stop there. Simultaneously, the Celtics triumphed over Houston in the NBA Finals, securing yet another championship for Massachusetts. Larry Bird not only matched Magic in rings, but also won Finals MVP and earned his 3rd consecutive NBA MVP award. Once again, the pressure was squarely on Magic and the Lakers. The battle for who would be crowned the king of the 80s was heating up, but one of Magic Johnson's greatest strengths was always his competitive mindset. Magic knew he had to elevate his game even further. Fueled by his rivalry with Bird, Magic continued to improve, and in the 1987 season, he reached the pinnacle of his career, posting career highs with 23.6 points per game, along with 6.3 rebounds and 12.2 assists. His performances, complete control of the game, and staggering numbers cemented him as the best player in the world. Finally, after 3 years of Bird's reign, Magic Johnson claimed the trophy that had eluded him, the NBA MVP award. With the trophy in his hands, he promised his team and fans that he would make them NBA champions. The Lakers entered the playoffs with an astounding 65 wins and 17 losses. This was their moment. Showtime tore through Denver, Golden State, and Seattle, reaching new heights with their performance. Magic Johnson averaged 21 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds in the postseason, dishing out triple-doubles like they were pizzas. The Lakers were back in the NBA Finals, ready to prove who truly ruled the basketball world. On the other side, Larry Bird and the Celtics had done their part, arriving in Los Angeles to defend their 1986 title, but they had no idea what was coming. The world's attention was laser-focused on this historic showdown. There wasn't a TV, radio, or newspaper that wasn't buzzing about the finals. The Lakers were determined to complete the perfect season and cement their legacy as the true kings of the era. For Magic Johnson, this was the chance to end the debate once and for all, leaving no doubt that he stood above Larry Bird. The 1987 finals marked the pinnacle of Showtime. Magic Johnson dazzled with every play, delivering magical passes that allowed James Worthy, Byron Scott, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to pile up points. Magic was everywhere, offense, defense. His energy and leadership transformed the Lakers into an unstoppable force. Everyone remembers that iconic moment in Game 4 when he hit the game-winning shot in true skyhook fashion, calling it the Junior Skyhook, securing a 107-106 victory in the final seconds. Even Larry Bird remarked, "You always expect to lose to the Lakers by a hook shot, but you never expect it from Magic." After 6 intense games, the Lakers won 4-2 and were crowned NBA champions. Magic capped off his best season with the Finals MVP. This would be the last time Magic's Lakers and Bird's Celtics faced off in a Finals. The third and final round went to Magic Johnson. Magic had reached the summit, and it seemed like there was nothing left to achieve for him and his Lakers, but Magic wanted to keep making history. Coach Pat Riley boldly declared that they would repeat as champions, a statement many deemed daring as it aimed to break the curse of the back-to-back championship, a feat not accomplished since Boston in '69. Johnson didn't slow down, averaging 19.6 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 11.9 assists per game. The best player in the world remained unstoppable. During those years, Magic was a force of nature on the court, playing freely, dominating opponents with a smile, mesmerizing the crowd with his passes and plays. The Lakers were once again the favorites heading into the playoffs. The Lakers cruised past San Antonio, but had to fight tooth and nail to overcome Utah and Dallas, both series going to 7 games. Magic Johnson, never one to throw in the towel, elevated his game under the heaviest pressure, refusing to back down. A new finals loomed on the horizon, but this time it wasn't Larry Bird's Celtics. A different kind of rival emerged, one that represented the complete opposite of the Lakers' style. The Detroit Pistons, famously known at the time as the Bad Boys. This was a team built on grit, toughness, and physicality that pushed the boundaries of the game, led by a relentless Isaiah Thomas. They had just knocked off the Celtics in the conference finals, and it seemed like their year had finally arrived. But Magic Johnson and the Lakers had one final lesson to teach them. The 1988 finals would go down as one of the toughest in NBA history. Detroit aimed to dominate with their brute force, trying to intimidate the Lakers, while LA sought to impose their speed and dazzling play. The series was so evenly matched that it stretched to 7 games, with Magic having to face some of the fiercest defenders of his career. But the Lakers endured, fueled by Magic's brilliance and a monumental performance from James Worthy, who delivered a triple-double. The series-clinching moment came when Magic stole the ball from Isaiah Thomas, sealing the game. The Lakers broke the long-standing curse of back-to-back championships. As their coach had promised, the Lakers were crowned back-to-back NBA champions, and Magic Johnson's legacy grew even larger. Magic Johnson and Showtime had reached the pinnacle of the mountain. That 1988 title would mark the end of a brilliant era for the Lakers and the last championship ring for Magic Johnson. In the years that followed, he would add 2 NBA MVP awards to his legacy and reach the finals in 1989, only to fall to the Pistons after suffering a devastating ligament injury. This would also be the final season for the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then came the 1991 finals against the Chicago Bulls, ushering in the new era of Michael Jordan. Though they reached the 1989 finals and faced the Pistons, and again in 1991 against the Bulls, it was clear the Showtime Lakers had come to an end. In just 12 years, they had amassed 5 NBA championships, made 9 NBA Finals appearances, and achieved a historic back-to-back title. Magic was still at the peak of his career. At 32, he remained one of the best players in the NBA and was ready to take on a new challenge, dethroning the new Kings. Everyone anticipated an epic showdown between the sensations of the moment, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and the resurgence of the man who changed and saved the NBA, Magic Johnson. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. The beginning of the 1991-92 season would mark a turning point in sports history. The great Magic Johnson, the hero of children and adults alike, the star of the Lakers, a living legend of American basketball, the smile of America, the man everyone admired and followed, announced that he was infected with the HIV virus. Magic Johnson was a name known worldwide. After so many incredible feats on the basketball court, he had become one of the biggest celebrities of the time, reaching superstar status. However, basketball wasn't his only vice. The nightlife, parties, luxury, and women were the other side of the world's best basketball player. It was common to see Magic with multiple women, each night a different one, and even at the Playboy Mansion, where he was scoring triple-doubles off the court. The 1980s were not only remembered as the era when a player named Magic Johnson dominated the NBA, but also as the time when one of the most feared diseases in human history emerged, the AIDS virus. AIDS, HIV, was one of the deadliest diseases in the late 20th century, spreading through the exchange of infected bodily fluids and destroying the immune system of its victims until death followed. At that time, the disease was largely associated with the gay community, with the most famous case being singer Freddie Mercury, who died just days after Magic made his announcement. But cases were also rising among heterosexuals, particularly those who embraced the nightlife, drugs, unprotected sex, and the fast-living lifestyle that many celebrities indulged in. Magic was ready to start the 1991-92 season, but a message from the Lakers doctors would change his life forever. The first 3 games of the season left everyone stunned, not because of the Lakers' performance, but because Magic Johnson was nowhere to be seen. Fans in the basketball world asked, "What's going on with Magic?" Rumors swirled about a stomach infection, but the reality was far worse. Tired of the speculation and ready to face the most important battle of his career, on November 7th, 1991, the great Magic Johnson, NBA superstar, announced that he had contracted the HIV virus and that his retirement from the Lakers was imminent. The world came to a standstill. All anyone could talk about was Magic's diagnosis and how many days he had left to live. But Magic, ever the fighter, shocked everyone with a positive message and the same beaming smile he had worn since his high school days, even as he announced what many saw as his death sentence. It was an announcement that shook athletes, actors, musicians, and even President George H.W. Bush, who declared, "Magic is a hero." Magic also confirmed that he had contracted the virus through sexual transmission, which revealed the painful truth about the countless times he had cheated on his wife, Erlitha Kelly, with whom he was expecting a child. One of Magic and his wife's biggest fears was whether the virus could affect the baby, but doctors confirmed the child was safe. Despite the lies and betrayal, Erlitha never left his side and became his most important support throughout Johnson's battle. It was an incredibly difficult time, not only for Magic, but for his entire family. Beyond the risk to his life, people were afraid to be near him, fearing infection. His first son, Andre Johnson, also suffered at school. No one wanted to be near a family associated with HIV. Many players like Michael Jordan and his longtime rival Larry Bird stood by his side. Bird even became one of Magic's closest friends, a confidant for his fears and struggles. But others, like Karl Malone, were terrified to get near him, let alone play on the same court. Magic became the face of this terrible disease. He began giving talks and started his own foundation to fight AIDS. Despite the stigma surrounding HIV, he never gave up. With the support of his wife and close friends, he rose again and fought back. Defying all odds and staring down death itself, Magic made an unforgettable return to the court to play in the 1992 All-Star Game. Despite some players' reluctance to play alongside him, Magic was the star of the night. The Western Conference won 153-113, and his opponents and teammates embraced him in a tribute for the ages. That night, Magic was crowned MVP of the game. Despite his HIV diagnosis and time away from the court, Magic Johnson was called up to play in the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, where he became part of one of the most legendary and spectacular basketball teams of all time, the Dream Team. This roster was filled with superstars like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, John Stockton, and David Robinson, among others. After the Olympics, Magic shifted his focus fully to his health. Unlike many other celebrities, Magic had one advantage: time. He detected the virus in its early stages before it could progress to AIDS. Thanks to new treatments and medical advancements by 1996, HIV was no longer considered a death sentence, and Magic had defeated his most formidable and dangerous rival yet. Magic returned to the NBA in 1995 after a brief stint as head coach for the Lakers, a role he held for just 16 games before stepping down. Officially, Magic Johnson was back on the court as a player. At 36 years old, after years of retirement fighting a life-threatening disease and enduring the toll of treatments, Magic laced up his sneakers for his final 32 games as a professional. Even after all those challenges, he still averaged 14.6 points, 6.9 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. The Lakers made it to the playoffs, but were eliminated in the first round by Houston. This marked Magic's final farewell to the NBA and professional basketball. Magic Johnson didn't need the most points or the flashiest stats. His greatness lived in his ability to see the game differently, to lift up everyone around him. Every pass, every smile, every victory was a testament to the magic he brought to basketball and life. And long after the final buzzer, his legacy shines just as bright. This isn't just the story of a legend on the court, it's the story of a man who redefined what greatness truly means. He led his team with a smile, inspiring his teammates in the toughest moments. In his 13 seasons in the NBA, Magic Johnson redefined the point guard position, changed the rules of the game, and proved he could play any position on the court at the highest level. His career left behind 5 NBA championships, 3 MVP awards, 3 Finals MVP awards, 12 All-Star selections, a spot in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and a legacy as a living legend of the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a story of resilience, a player who bravely admitted to the world about his serious illness, becoming a beacon of hope and inspiration for thousands who felt lost. He was a character who never stopped smiling, a man who didn't need to score to achieve the impossible, the magic of basketball, Magic Johnson.